Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features X Factor Special, Prisoner of Love by Jim Starlin and Jackson Guise, sometimes known as Butch Guise. And this is kind of an appropriate review because the news is that Jackson Butch Guise died on the 1st of May at the age of 63, which is quite young in respect of 2025 to be dying at 63. Don't know any further details regarding that, but this is definitely one of his most striking art jobs because it is in a, for 1990, prestige square bound format. So you've got good quality paper stock here. This isn't a throwaway newsprint comic, and it's one that I only read yesterday in preparation to make this particular video. So it's all brand new to me at the moment. Couldn't find too much about it online in terms of the origin of the project, but you can see that Jim Starlin is writer, and in 1990 he's coming back to Marvel Comics writing Silver Surfer and putting the work in for the big Infinity Gauntlet special series in 1991. After having spent some years working at DC Comics. So he's back and he's probably pitched this idea for an X Factor special focused on the Beast. This character here, the woman that he's kissing in this striking drawing for the cover, we'll learn all about her inside the comic itself. Turn this over to the back cover and you can see how they're selling this, pitching it. What costs love? That's a question Hank McCoy, the mutant known as the Beast, must ask himself. The answer: everything. His health, his sanity, his teammates, maybe even his life. So an obsessional love, because a mysterious creature known as the Dark One, that's this figure here mostly in shadow, stalks the Beast's beauty, and his intentions are most definitely deadly. The Beast's beauty is this woman here. Prisoner of Love, a love story with a bizarre and bitter twist. Okay, let's open this one up to the credits page and opening splash page. So you can see here, if I can hold it for you, Jim Starlin writer, Jackson Guise artist, Michael Heisler rather, letterer, and Alfred Ramirez colorist. So I would say, my guess is that this is the blue line technique of coloring, the one that was used on Dark Knight Returns. The square bound format is also that of the Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. So yeah, there's something 1980s about this comic, you know, where Marvel Comics and DC Comics were ambitious. They were trying to break into the book market, and they were ambitious to try these prestige format type stories. And here we go. I really like this opening splash here. It's a slice of life of New York City in the very late 80s. And we have a first person narration here. Life can be rough. It can get to a point where it seems like everything is crashing down around your ears. Sometimes you feel that way even when things are going smoothly. That's when you need to escape, need to get lost in a crowd. By the way, my name's Hank McCoy. Some folks call me the Beast. So intriguing opening there. It seems to me that Jackson Guise must have been either in New York City to take some sketches for this project, and he drew this one from a park. Is this Washington Square Park? The fountain should give it away to anybody who might know. And there's also a little Easter egg here, which is a reference to the art of Jean Giraud, the French artist known as Mobius. And this is a kind of copy of one of his famous prints, Girl with the Star Box. And there's something glowing inside there. So Jean Giraud Mobius, known in the US primarily for the Incal, which was, if I'm not mistaken, reprinted, packaged and reprinted for the American market by Marvel in the 1980s. And my feeling is that Butch Guise was an admirer of Mobius, because that is a copy of that particular drawing. So really nice opening there, like that. And now we get more into the story as the Beast is walking through New York City. Of course, I'm no beast. In fact, I'm kind of a sweetie, but I am a mutant. That's why I have to bundle up like it's January and May. The sight of my furry little hide has been known to get non-mutant pulse rates a galloping. How dare this stinking mutie go walking among normal folks like he belongs or something. It don't matter none. This stinking mutie regularly risks his life for the sake of all those indignant straits. Still, I sometimes like to go mingling incognito among the unwashed masses. Guess it's my way of getting a taste of how it feels passing for normal. It's the only time I'm just another Joe. No worries, no responsibilities, no surprises. A million miles from the danger room. So the Beast referring there to his time in the X-Men, but in this particular era, he is a member of X Factor, the government's mutant hunting, what would I call them, team, even though that's a cover for the fact that they actually help mutants. And this story is said, as far as I can tell from my research, it's supposed to take place between issues 58 and 59 of X Factor Volume 1. So here he is remembering a time maybe from earlier in the day with his fellow X Factor members, Iceman and Archangel, in the middle of some kind of training session. So this can't be the Danger Room in the X Mansion, but it's some kind of training room modeled on the Danger Room in SHIP. And so there's a bit of banter there, but the Beast is kind of a little bit morose in the opening of this story. So he's saying, sometimes a body gets tired, loses the edge. After all, I'm only human, sort of, as he walks out the door. And Archangel is looking after him, musing on maybe the Beast's mood. So he's walking around X Factor's headquarters, and in his first person monologue, he says, I know Bobby and Warren meant well, but there are times when you just don't want to hear too much truth. And then he overhears Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl in this era, feeding Cyclops and Madeline Pryor's son there, Nathan Christopher. So she's telekinetically moving that spoon towards him, and she says to him, you need to eat all your pablum, otherwise you won't grow up big and strong like your daddy. So pablum is like baby food. So always interesting Jim Starlin scripts. I like Jim Starlin's work, more particularly his cosmic stuff, because he uses a wide-ranging vocabulary, and you'll get interesting words thrown in to his scripts. This is an interesting sequence too, where the spoonful of baby food is going towards Nathan Christopher, but he uses his incipient, is it his incipient telekinesis, or does he simply push the spoon right back at Jean's face there? The Beast is kind of smiling. Chris 1, Jean 0. But then Jean puts a kind of a grimace on her face as her tongue is going out to lick off some of that baby food, and the baby then starts crying. Beast is watching, and then Jean picks the baby up. There, big fella, it's all right, no harm done. And interesting, that expression on Beast's face, and then a darker expression as well. Great rendering, hatching and cross-hatching, Butch Guise penciling and inking the pages here. And then Jean playing with Christopher. It's tickle time, she says, and the Beast stalks away. Babies, what you figure the chances are of you ever having one, McCoy, he thinks to himself, next to zilch. And if you did have one, what would it look like? It might take after its father as he looks at his reflection on the pane of glass. He's stalking out past Cyclops. That would make for a delightful childhood. Just imagine all the marvelous nicknames he'd have to grow up with. So Scott bids him good morning. Morning, Hank. Is it? Where you heading? Out, just out, says Beast. Hank, you okay? Sure, why wouldn't I be? You can never be too rich or too slim. Come on, Hank, says Scott. Something is bothering you. Just life in general, he says. Catch you later. So that's kind of like one of Jim Starlin's themes. Depression, the blues. I don't know if that's out of his personal experience or not, but it's certainly something that crops up in his writing as a theme, and one that he's pinning here on the Beast, even though in this era the Beast is fairly, what shall I say, reconciled to his blue bestial form. But in any case, Jim Starlin is slightly ignoring that for this particular story. So he's out on the street, And he says, is it any wonder I sometimes get the blues? That wasn't meant to be a pun rather. Luckily I know one surefire cure for the blues. Go take a walk in the Big Apple. New York City, they say it's the greatest town in the world. As he looks up between the canyons of the skyscraper buildings. Of course, some might argue the point. All I know for sure is that it's a terrific place to get lost in order to sort things out. I always manage to properly realign my attitude on these little strolls. So Jim Starlin lived in New York City in the 1970s. I'm not sure about the 80s. And again, I wonder, is he drawing on his kind of personal experience, life experience, for what he's putting into the Beast's thoughts there. Again, this looks like Jackson Guise maybe drawing on a sketchbook that he put together while in New York City, preparing to do this particular art job, and or he's using photo reference. And I do think he's using photo reference at certain points in this particular comic. So we see the slice of life there, the Beast walking by, heavily disguised with his hat and trench coat. He says, yes sir, New York's a city of extremes, as he sees this rich couple emerging from a hotel or restaurant. If it exists, you'll find it here, as he sees this woman, this homeless woman, down a side street. And now he's passing through all the life in New York City. He sees this young boy bouncing a ball against the wall. But it's got to be a strange place to grow up in, he thinks to himself. The town's confusing enough living here as an adult, let alone, he was about to say a child, but then we get adventure. So the Beast is in morose mood. He's got the blues. He's out in New York City trying to get a better attitude within himself, and then something happens. Get her, there she goes down the alley. So he turns around and he sees these guys chasing someone, and there's the boy with the baseball as well. Remember him? He's watching everything outside on the pavement. Taking to the high ground might be a good idea. So the Beast jumps up onto the external fire escape. Best to know exactly what's going on before committing yourself to any action. So he's he's not going on pure emotion, because the Beast is an intellectual, scientific-minded character. So Starlin's working that into his writing of the Beast here, and I appreciate that. This is a great panel by Jackson Guise. Really like it, as the hat, trench coat come off so the Beast can move more freely as he swings by that chimney stack. Wouldn't I feel silly if all that was going on was some teenager trying to catch up with his girlfriend? But for some reason, I don't think that's the case. So here he is on the edge of a rooftop, and he's going to look down into the alley, and what's he going to see? Turn the page. So we've got this top-down view. There is a blonde woman in a white dress there, and she's being menaced by these men. We've been looking for you, lady, they say. Joey told us what you did to his brother. No one treats a rattler like that, says this guy. So there's some kind of gang. You're going to have to pay for that, lady. You're going to have to pay in blood. Very 1980s, late 80s look on this guy. And then the Beast gets involved, throws a rock at him, drops down onto the ground, and he says to the lady, don't worry, miss, I've got everything under. And then he is caught. It is love or fascination or obsession at first sight. And so it is my notion that Butch Guise is maybe using a model for some of the drawings of this particular character. We'll learn her name shortly. So she's drawn to be a stunning blonde lady, blue-eyed blonde lady. And from 1980s American pop culture, movies such as Wall Street and Splash with Tom Hanks, the American model that I'm thinking of that might have been in his mind when drawing this character is the actress and model Daryl Hannah. But I don't know if he was using an actual life model for some of these poses. I think some of them are taken from magazines. That's my thinking anyway. Let me know what you think. So one glance and I'm lost. I've never seen anyone or anything so beautiful in my whole life, thinks the Beast. It's pretty apparent the dastardly crime she committed against Joey's brother. She obviously broke the poor kid's heart. So again, with my contention that are my idea that this is the blue line technique. On some of the pages I see a little slipping. The acetate with the color is slipping for the printing. So that's a little slight defect. This is a first printing, and I don't know that this special ever went into a second printing. So we get a fight scene here. And this is the kind of thing that you would get in the monthly X Factor comics. And Butch Guise doing a really nice job on the Beast here in this sequence. Unafraid to use some negative space as well. Open border panels, varying the layouts. It's good stuff. Looks like the Beast is getting some bricks thrown into his back there. He should find it no difficulty taking on this gang of humans who have no powers. But he's down on the ground. This guy's got a tire iron. He says to his fellow gang members, I say we waste him. And then something happens here, and we don't know what it is, but they are astonished into silence, and we don't know what happens. And then we get this sequence of images as the Beast comes out of unconsciousness. Next time, definitely use an elephant gun, he says. Get that close up on his eye. And he's in an apartment with the blonde lady. So he wakes up, he's surprised. There she is sitting at the window. And I just have a feeling that this could be based on a magazine picture, or, as I said earlier, a life drawing of an art model, one or the other. But it's a really nice image, and I'm kind of surprised that Jackson Guise didn't sign it or something. But in any case, the Beast is waking up, and he asks her, did you carry me here, or was I capable of walking? What's her response? Do I look like I could carry you? Guess not, he says. Want to thank you for your help back in the alley. She says, sure, no problem. He replies, say, what happened after I hit the canvas? Those punks give you any more trouble? But her name is Cynthia Nape. Now, Nape is an anagram of pain. Cynthia, like synth. Synth means, from the Greek, it means like connecting, linking. So is there something here about what do I want to say, like making a connection? It's an interesting name in any case, and it kind of has me conjecturing what Jim Starlin was trying to say with the name. Let's turn the page. Did the punks give her any more trouble? Nothing I couldn't handle, she says. So he's looking at her, he's wondering about her, and she picks up and says, you know you surprised me showing up the way you did. I had no idea you were on the roof. And he replies, well, we mutants have a talent for showing up just in the nick of time. And she's surprised. She doesn't know about mutants. A mutant, is that what you are? And he replies, mutant, mutie, homo superior. Folks have a lot of colourful names for my kind. Interesting, she says. Great top-down view on the apartment, but it's completely empty. Guess you haven't lived here long, as he says as he looks around. Relatively speaking, no, I'm a stranger in this. And she pauses town. So it's a mystery lady. Is she trouble? Is she a femme fatale? This is interesting layout here, these moments between the characters. And we get as much explanation as she's prepared to give at this point. In many ways, I'm as lonely as you, she says. And he replies, what would you know about me being lonely? And she says, there's a lot I know about you, Hank McCoy. So he's stunned that she knows his name. Can't you feel it, Hank? Feel it deep in your heart, she says. Our souls have touched and found a kindred spirit in each other. She kisses his hand. I realized that the first moment our eyes met. Eyes, yes, eyes, he says. Love at first sight. I'm the woman you've searched for all your life. I'm the loving heart that will drive off the dank and lonely night, she says. What I say is true, is it not? Every word, he replies. And you are just what I most need, she says. Strong arms to hold me, someone to watch over me, a protector. So this is interesting stuff from Starlin. You know, this is the real, how will I put it, archetypal relation between Beauty and the Beast, men and women. Beauty, how will I put it, like on the woman's side, and strength, promising protection on the male side. Starlin really thinking about this stuff, I feel. Turn the page, we're going to get a great one-page image of the kiss, which is the basis for the cover. So I think my feeling is that Guise must have done a couple of studies for the cover, and this may be one of them, and I think it's really well done. And again, I'm just wondering, was he using photo reference? Did he have some model that he was working with for this? But it looks really, really well. Great drawing, great work. And then we presume that between here and here, the woman, Cynthia Nape, and the beast have what is euphemistically termed made love. So he wakes up in her bed. He's wondering where she is. He's alone, going around checking out the apartment. Speaking of empty, some food doesn't sound like a bad idea. So there's a fridge there. He's looking through, or he looks into the fridge. There's nothing there. The cupboards are bare. The fridge is in the same sorry state. Maybe there's a dinner somewhere in the neighborhood, a diner rather. And there she is. So she's in a dressing gown there. Looks very 1980s. That with those kind of socks, cotton socks that she's wearing. But she's fixed in breakfast, so it's over there. So how come he didn't smell it? I made you a double helping of everything. Sit down and dig in, she says. So she's like a dream woman for the beast. You need to keep up your strength. So he's a little bit mystified. Say, where are you from, Cynthia? Far from here, she replies. Being enigmatic, are we? No, it's just rather hard to pronounce. So is it the name of a city in our world, or somewhere alien? Besides, what does it matter where I come from, she asks him. It doesn't, I guess, he replies. All that's important is how we feel for each other. Feelings are all that count. So again, like interesting from Starlin, this is a beautiful kind of feeling type woman verse, and she's connecting with this bestial, strong, intellectual, rational thinking type man, and their fingers interlock there. All of these poses and expressions in Butch Guise's art really well done. And again, she's saying to Beast here, there's like this bargain she's making when there's no end to the pleasure I could give you, and all I ask in return is your protection. As she kisses his fingers, I'd never let anyone harm you, he responds. I know, she says, but what's this blood on her lip? So that takes him by surprise. Turn the page. And he's shocked that she broke the skin on his finger. Did it hurt, she asks. Terribly? No, not at all. So what on earth is going on here? So they kiss again, and there's the mark of the bite on his, well, it looks like his knuckle there, or just to one side of his knuckle. We've got the blood trail here in the background of these panels. Blood red. That's what color the sky is, blood red. So there's a kind of like a psychedelic sequence coming up here. This looks like a hellscape. Interesting inking techniques. And we turn the page, and then the monster's the stuff of opium dreams, a slithering nightmare. And this is very Lovecraftian. H.P. Lovecraft, the ancient ones. This is what I'm reminded of here on this particular page. Really interesting inking techniques that Guise is using here. It looks like he might be using a sponge for some of this. Could be using some screen tone. It's really intriguing looking art. And then it seems time passes, and we have a view of the apartment that Cynthia is living in. The door is open. There's this dark one outside. He looks human, but I don't buy the lie. The dark one radiates a black and ominous power that chills me to the bone. He strides off, a sinister purpose in his gait. His eyes are constantly in motion, searching for something. So the implication is that this is this guy who's taken on a human form. Or someone. Pity the poor soul he seeks. Then in a flash of pure horror, I realize the person he's hunting is Cynthia. So the beast wakes up in the bed. There's another one of these images that I think is maybe pulling from a magazine, or he has a model posing for him. She's there, and he tells her about the dream, but she knows already about it. Why are you so sad, Cynthia? He asks her. Because I know too much. I know it's a harsh world out there, she says, with so few happy endings. So here they are hugging, and then her eye opens, and there's a storm over the city. So this is an interesting perspective on the city. And again, it makes me think that the Brooklyn Bridge there, it makes me think that Guise must have been there with a sketchbook for this. Great anchor image here of her on the sofa with Beast there. You've become the whole world to me, Cynthia, even though I know so little about you, he says. What are you, my love? Anything you wish me to be, she replies. You do such strange and wondrous things to me, he says. Nothing you don't want me to do. She replies, you're not completely human, are you? No, she says, but then neither are you. No human could make you feel the way I do. No human would want to. So there's some kind of lover's tiff there almost. You can't help what you are, she says to him, what you don't understand, but I might understand it if you'd only talk to me. Please tell me what's going on here. He replies to her, perhaps later, and she goes off into the dark of the bedroom maybe, and he follows her. So he's obsessed. It's the morning. The morning light begins to burn some of the cobwebs from my psyche. What have I been doing? I don't even know exactly where I am. How long have I been here? 1, 2 days? Scott and the gang will be wondering what's become of me. Worrying. I'll have to give them a ring. But Cynthia doesn't have a phone, doesn't seem to need one, apparently doesn't work. I'll take her out for breakfast this morning and find a payphone, but he doesn't leave the apartment. I've never felt so wretched. Maybe it's the flu, he thinks to himself. He sees Archangel flying around the city, so X Factor could be looking for their teammate. We don't know how long he's been missing. He doesn't know either. He's opening the window, trying to open the window to call out to Warren, and then Cynthia appears. It's my friend Warren. Were you going to leave without saying goodbye? So is she some kind of psycho girlfriend, femme fatale? She pulls down the blinds. The Beast is there, being worn out with her in the apartment, but he can't leave. Then there's a scream. He wakes up, smashes through the door, and X Factor are there, or so it seems. But the perspective is crazy. It's really interesting. And X Factor have this horrifying appearance, and they've got Cynthia chained up upside down, burning, or over this fire, like they're trying to burn her. So this is another crazy psychedelic sequence. Look at the monstrousness of Cyclops here in this. So Beast is fighting his teammates, these monstrous versions of them. They say love changes the whole world for you, makes you see it differently. Seems like Starlin's playing around with the theme of someone falling for a woman, or in this case a woman, and losing touch with their friends and being completely absorbed and immersed in the new relationship, and it may be being bad for them, and then seeing their friends when they come around in a negative light. And so Beast here says, if that's true, my love for Cynthia has revealed what a nightmare existence I've been living, one I'll never return to. And so there he is, he's caught Cynthia, he's kissing her, and then we get this weird change here of aspect. So this circle here turns out to be a light bulb, and the Beast is asking himself, are you saying here about Cynthia, you find the chains comforting, they are of your own making, you're evil. She says that to him, and he says so this is all about the Prisoner of Love title. He says to her, you're evil, and she says, I'm beyond good or evil, I simply am. And that's very Nietzschean. It's also a kind of allusion to, or maybe a clue to the fact that she's some kind of divine being, a god, an eternal being, and Beast there wondering, will I survive this passion? And she replies, I'm not sure either of us will. Okay, so we're coming to the last act of the story. There's that light bulb. The Beast is waking up on the floor. Another one of these anchor images where I feel Jackson Guise is maybe working with a magazine image, very 1980s outfit there. I'm dying, Cynthia, he says. No, you only feel like you are. Remember, I warned you how it would be. It's all feelings, nothing but feelings. Why, Cynthia, he asks as he's crawling on the floor. Why does it have to be like this? Poor Beastie, all confused. You said you'd explain, he says, and perhaps I should. After all, the time for you to play the knight in shining armor is almost upon us. So she says more. So he asks her, what are you? Something you couldn't even begin to comprehend, she replies. So here we go. This is as much explanation as Starlin's going to give us. Once the cosmos was filled with my kind, our numbers seemed infinite, but then they came. The enemy, those that seek to annihilate us, the dark ones. They fear and hate our light and pleasure. So light and pleasure versus darkness and destruction. And these are big themes for Starlin across his career. Eros versus Thanatos. Love and desire and pleasure versus death and destruction and darkness. And she continues, but they have the power to extinguish both. That's light and pleasure. Now there are so few of us and so many of them, the dark ones grow ever stronger. So Beast, of course, is there to protect her. She says to him, you are astonishingly different from all the others she'd met previously. When I first arrived, I keyed into the human factor because I thought them this world's dominant species. I knew nothing of mutants until you showed up in that alley. Your arrival truly surprised me. I didn't sense your presence because you aren't truly human. I doubt the Dark One will be able to sense you either. A surprise attack from you might do the trick. Get him to lower his guard, enough for me to slip past it. It's the only hope I have. Please help me. So, of course, he's obsessed with her. For you, anything. Then you must listen carefully to what I say. An encounter between beings of our ilk is like nothing you've ever experienced. It will be disorientating. So here comes the Dark One. You must stand by this wall and close your eyes very tightly. Do not open them until you hear me address the Dark One, she says. Then look only at the Dark One. Concentrate on nothing but him. If you allow your eyes to stray, vertigo will overcome you. So he's up against the wall. He's closing his eyes. This is going to be something beyond human or mutant comprehension. Something cosmic is coming up. She says to him, you must hold your attack until you hear me scream the word now. And she says, I'll be with you, fighting alongside you. I shall always be by your side in my own fashion. The Dark One is coming forward with this rainbow colour all over his face. So Beast is there up against the wall, his eyes closed. He's trusting her. Something is coming through the door with a big grin on its face. She says, greetings, Dark One, and then things get psychedelic again. The Beast opens his eyes against her advice. The apartment reality, everything's melting away to an interdimensional smorgasbord of ever-shifting actualities. Then he sees the Dark One. She's like an angel here in this drawing. And then there's the fight. The Dark One, eye on the Dark One. Keep your eye on the Dark One. So she yells out now. He leaps towards the Dark One. A mad hell filled with a lifetime of anger and frustration erupts from within me, and death takes note of my presence, but it's only a fleeting glance terminated by the world exploding about us. This is a great climax to this story. And then he gets a look at Cynthia in her true alien crystalline form. Deep within the heart of the fiery cataclysm, I catch just a glimpse of Cynthia. Then she's back in her human form, comforting him, and she says, once again, you've saved me, and for that I will always be grateful. To prove that gratitude, to bid you farewell, return to your life and prosper. So she's gone. He's in the alleyway. There's the boy with the baseball from earlier. You get mugged or something, mister? And he puts it together. From the kid, I learn it's Monday, the same day I took my little walk, so no time has passed. He doesn't remember any blonde woman or street gang, and the expression in his eyes shows me he thinks me some kind of head case. And here we are, last page, 48 pages of story and art in this one. Don't try stopping him when he makes up a lame excuse about hearing his mother calling. He couldn't answer the one question that really needs answering. Was Cynthia nothing more than an hallucination caused by a hot dog? A bad hot dog? So he's wondering about all of that. Then I feel it. It's there just under the fur. The gossamer trace of teeth marks on my hand. So it was all real. The end. So an intriguing story. 1990. What Costs Love? Prisoner of Love. A love story with a bizarre and bitter twist. Indeed. So some Lovecraftian stuff going on in this one. Great art by Jackson, Butch, Guise, R.I.P. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Did you pick this up back in the day? It would have been expensive, around $5 there. That was definitely beyond my budget in 1990. But did you pick it up? What are your thoughts on this one? It's an idiosyncratic story indeed. If you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like and share the video. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.